and therefore they send the bottom lane to take the Rift Scuttler to make sure that that isn't given to Blank for even more of an advantage. I think it's really cool little play.
It's easy. Yeah, it's easy when you have this much prio to actually make choices like that. You have the opportunity to make the best choice possible, and you take it. If you're obviously having a tougher matchup here bottom side, then that choice isn't really an option. But you have so much more safety for your top laner because of this.
Yeah, it's really cool.
And part of why Ezreal, I think, has fallen off a lot here in the LCK, even though he has played, like we've seen so much Ezreal versus Varus, where later on the Ezreal just outscales and does better. It doesn't always happen that way, but the lack of prio in the bottom side can really hurt how a lot of matchups are played, including the Gnar into the Gangplank. Having that extra jungle presence up there makes you a lot safer. And if the roles were reversed, you wouldn't have that opportunity.
Yeah. Well, Summit now goes back, grabs himself Phage. And it is going to be the Sheen first buy here for Doran. Very standard stuff for the Gangplank. Building towards his Trinity Force that we've seen most of the Gangplanks of late go towards.
Yeah, one of the only champions in the meta right now that will still build the Trinity Force.
Yeah. As Fate throws an Ardent Blaze the wrong direction, but the chain also goes wide. Dove avoids the Piercing Light, which is certainly good news for the LeBlanc, but a lot of skill shots sort of missing. One of those skill shots, not even really a skill shot. But a press
wrestling going on
this time, Wolf, as well. It's not
yeah.
scary.
It's quite interesting, actually, to see the press the attack in this composition. But it is, you know, you're not going to be getting as much harassed on the longer the lane goes on, and press the attack is going to be way more valuable just in general as the game goes forward. Especially in some of these first few skirmishes, too. I think it's going to be extremely powerful.
Chain lands that time.
No 6, though.
Oh, Doran in trouble here as Summit chasing after him. Now he's going to have Mini Gnar, which could even be more valuable. And there is the fadeaway on the Boomerang. Beautifully done. Summit's Gnar, always a joy.
Yeah, and you know what? This is really going to be a very frustrating first early game here. The kill that you get here as Gnar means that, unfortunately for Doran, now your life gets a lot harder. Blank has to come to pick up the pieces. And yeah, there was an opportunity there in the mid lane for if Kroko had 6 for him to turn that around, but mid doesn't even get a flash out of Fade or anything like that, so he's completely fine. Dove's not able to take that away from him. So just this really nice edge you get right before the Rift Herald. Liv Sandbox also going to grab this. Scuttle Crab.
Another one they collect for themselves on that bottom side, so the Varus getting a lot more far ahead. There's the Gnar back.
Yeah, he just bounces it perfectly, pulls him back, and then, as you mentioned, the bonus damage you're going to get, plus the fadeaway boomerang, is going to be pretty nice. It's actually perfectly timed for him to Mini Gnar there. As you mentioned, it's like in this case you actually want it, because you can fade away from the turret, get that extra bonus damage through from the autos.
Really nicely done. And Flash was up for Doran, but just wasn't expecting himself to get boomeranged, I guess.
He also he was standing in such a way that hitting the Gnar behind him was really hard to pull off, actually. Like, he was basically inside of Gangplank when he did it.
Yeah.
So I think Doran was really just kind of like, are you really doing this? Because I think you can't pull me back, but he actually just barely could. Effort, doing what he does all the time.
Wandering towards that mid lane as he's not going to flash after Dove. Always a little bit of a mind game there to see who's going to flash where, but decides not to go for it. It's just going to be even more control of the mid lane given over to Liv Sandbox. Chains connect to a minion. Liv Sandbox may take this as an opportunity, and they do. The flash comes forward. Zeus trying to survive, but the equalizer will guarantee that the Leona is real dead. And Liv Sandbox now, after the Rift Herald has been alive for 20 seconds, we'll go over and pay Shelly a visit. One
of the things that's funny about the Lucian and the Rumble pairing is that in terms of ganks, you don't have any CC to line up for. I mean, minus obviously the Harpoon slow, which is pretty low impact. You don't have any CC to line up these kills, but when you're given CC, you have the most, like, you're dead damage in the game. Like, between the culling and the
can we mark that down
equalizer
as a technical term? Yeah. The you're dead damage?
It's like, you're dead. Sorry. You got CC'd by any other source, and at this stage of the game, you can't get much more damage than that from any two champions.
Yeah.
So
they do have a lot of your dead damage.
Yes.
And any way to describe it.
The value is going to be really, really, really high.
야, 보자.
So effort's like, let's look for this. He's like, I'm going
한 볼게. 나쁘지 않긴 해.
Boom.
좋긴 해.
He gets the
이걸
body
잘 깔아봐.
slam into the cask.
나이스.
And
올려서
You're dead
시야만 할게
damage.
이번 턴에.
That's what
레오나도
he
그래.
said. And I think he said he was going to clear that ward, and that's exactly what he did.
And this is just, I don't know, man. It's feeling like, once again, just suffocation. KT with not too many options and sort of wondering kind of what went wrong, right? Because it's like one gank towards the top lane. It's one pick in the mid lane against a support, right? But the amount that Liv Sandbox get from these moments is really, really high.
Yeah, it's going to give them so much more, again, control over the map. And the gold ballooning that can happen with a composition like this is so frustrating to play against. Like, suddenly Lucian gets an assist like that, and then it's even more annoying to deal with him when he pokes you down like that. And once he gets his Gale Force online, he's going to be extremely potent, and he's going to be able to get those kills even faster. And as KT, this time, you don't even necessarily get that buffer Drake, right? Look at the bot prio. Right now, to look for the scuttle is realistic here, but to actually start the Drake is not. Summit does not have teleport, however, and that means that Doran will have ult advantage globally here.
Indeed, it should be that KT do have relative control of the area, but as you can see, Liv Sandbox able to move on up, actually, and lock this one down. And in the meantime, Summit going to grab at least 2 plates here.
Yeah, this is just really unfortunate for KT because you can't stop this Drake necessarily without committing your ult, right, as Gangplank, and actually committing to this fight, which is so high risk because if you end up losing out while you're already behind, by the way, then you basically lose the game on this Drake. But if you give the Drake up, you don't have that same buffer that they had last game to kind of sit back and farm, which the Ezreal is so desperately going to need in this game. He's, significantly behind in CS, but it's going to get a lot easier once we, rotate him into the mid lane, the turret plates fall down and all that. But the fact that they're unable to do anything because they're so far behind at this stage means that, yes, like you said, they're getting choked out of this game, and there isn't really a good play in this moment. You have to kind of sit back and farm, but you know that Liv Sandbox are going to get so much out of this early Drake. Now, they haven't taken it yet. So, we've been talking about what it means, but it actually hasn't gone over to them just yet because they're actually just trying to squeeze KT out of the map even harder vision-wise.
And they now have the Rift Herald to drop down towards the top side if they want to as well. Create a point of pressure there, and then potentially roam down to start off that dragon like you were talking about.
That's
but
exactly what they're going to do.
I think this is like a cake and eat it too type situation where Croco also wants to get this gank, and he might just be able to get it, especially with effort support. But Blank and Zeus are here for the defense. Shelly comes down. She will be able to get herself a charge, but that is going to be the cannon barrage invested to try and stop this turret from actually falling. Cast, though, as Doran thrown around like a ragdoll. They are able to keep the turret alive, but 2 plates still do go down.
Yeah, that was actually pretty well handled by KT Rolster. Doran has the immediate ult response to slow the push, and yes, they are going to lose the plates no matter what, but they defend this pretty well. Blank's hovering the area, so there's no further commit. Now, had they had the You're Dead damage from Fate, I think it would have been different.
Yeah, I think that's what they were missing. It's the amount of You're Dead damage that they just did not have.
Yeah, but he does end up threatening Dove in the mid lane, and is actually going to force him to teleport back to lane. So they're just winning everywhere. And like you said, they're like, well, we could just get a Drake, or we could win even harder everywhere else. And this is getting maximum value out of the advantage they have instead of just taking a Drake. Like, they're going to wring the last drops of Summoner's Rift out to dry here for KT Rolster, and then take the Drake.
I was thinking that there might be a Chains of Corruption coming through for Prince, but he decides not to throw it out. Doesn't have his Mythic available just yet. His effort. Gonna get flashed on here. Good body slam to interrupt his own Zenith Blade. There was the attackers. There's the kick flash. That was a very interesting interaction, but Blank makes it work. I like that one a lot. As Fate is gonna grab himself a plate. And also that top lane outer turret going to be teleported to here for Doran, who does have now a Trinity Force online.
Summit can teleport in here, though. So KT, I don't know if we should feel so excited about taking this Drake right now. The Summit can show up at a moment's notice, and Doran doesn't have CC to stop him, so he could basically just come in whenever he wants.
Yeah.
They are going to actually look to exchange here. Summit's like, yeah, I'll take that fight any day of the week right now. And you've got to be so careful as KT. Now, what KT has been successful at, while also losing a little bit of control of the map, is this is not a Drake take for Liv Sandbox still, and this is extending the game in a different way.
This is a big Gnar. Doesn't have his Gnar available, actually, so the wallet not going to connect either, so Doran's going to live.
And so will the turret.
Yeah. The space digging drill thing that he throws out with that skin.
It's a house. Just looks a little bit drill-shaped.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
It's sort of one of
Just
these
a house.
alien houses that I don't quite understand, but I'm not supposed to. It all makes sense.
Don't think Doran's in Kansas anymore.
Absolutely not. Having to dodge these drill houses and things like that. Oh, dear.
He's definitely not wearing any ruby slippers. He's actually bootsless at the moment.
He's got a triangle, though.
That's coming in Season 12, the ruby slippers upgrade to the boots.
Oh, no. It just takes you to Kansas.
Maybe it improves your recall speed. Just clap them together 3 times, you go straight back to the straight back to the fountain.
Oh, dear. Well,
that's for free, Riot. This one's
all right,
free.
Effort now once again going to get Zenith bladed on. That is a decent cask, but he's once again dead after doing almost as much as possible in order to keep himself alive. But doesn't really work out. However, Live Sandbox elsewhere on the map are really creating the push. Summit being the main benefactor of that one, as another space drill house flies out towards the pirate. And KT should be able to get Shirley, at least.
Yeah, they're going to get the Rift Herald here, and it's funny how both times Effort has died has led to an objective. And I say it's funny, but it's not just in an ironic sense. It's actually kind of like he's baiting them into these weird spots where they're pulling aggro away from what's more important on the map. Like his death isn't quite as significant as full control of the top side now goes to Summit, right? These small things. Obviously, it'd be nice if maybe he didn't die and maybe he was a little bit safer with how he's doing it, but
What?
yeah.
So they didn't take it.
Nope. Nobody has taken anything, by the way. Like,
Yeah, the dragons are just living forever.
yeah, I'm starting to get a little bit concerned if we're going to get a soul this game. Like, you might not find out if it's Cloud Soul or not if this keeps up.
I think it might be a dragon conservation type idea, you know, like save the dragons.
Yeah,
I mean,
no,
so
I'm
many
about
of
that.
them die every game.
It's really sad.
Yeah, it's about time that we
With-
let them fly majestically.
But
north
just
of Summit's
$9.99 a
Rift,
month,
as we see.
you can make a big difference. It's
Adopt a-
99 gold a month.
Adopt a dragon today. As Live Sandbox say, well, we'll take your donation money, but we'll still take the Drake.
Finally goes down here. They've had so many opportunities to do so.
Yeah, I mean, your donation got it 16.5 minutes, and that's pretty good.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm talking about now. If you upgrade to the premium membership,
Yeah.
we might be 1 Drake a game.
Yeah, we might be able to bring that down to 20, and we could also put a hard cap on that one as well, as we're going to see the montage of Effort dying
Yeah, this
in
is the
creative
first time,
ways.
where he does actually, Blanco's is like scared he's going to get over the wall there, so he actually flashes the wall himself to guarantee the kick is there. Then this time, yeah, I mean, I'm trying to give him a lot of credit. Like, yeah,
I mean, it was a cool idea. He just decides that flashing, he didn't quite get close enough to get that fat flash off.
The thing is, even if he is able to flash, you know, he casts and then flashes out, like he had to cask and flash, so it's not great, but...
Do you know what I really hope he was actually thinking was that he needs his flash to kill people.
Yeah, no.
So he's like, no, I don't need to live. I will use my flash.
I was just trying to give him a 5 credit as well.
Speaking of flashes, yeah, Cannon Barrage, and I think the Varus is dead, guys. That is,
Your
yep.
dead damage coming
Yeah,
through.
that is certainly KT saying, we've got some Your Dead damage as well.
Well,
Wolf.
yeah, nope, that's about 100 to 0 in less than a second. I don't know how many seconds that was. I don't have my stopwatch out, but I don't think I could have pulled it out quickly enough for how fast Prince died there.
Yeah.
No cleanse, didn't flash, but he's blown up, and this gives KT a little bit of a moment here to just kind of sit back and farm. If Fate gets caught here, and suddenly they're back in the game.
Well, that's all right, just ease his way out. The relentless pursuit going to keep him out of the way of the Q from Blank.
The
KT
unfortunate,
not going to get it.
The unfortunate thing here, Atlas, for KT is that even though they get a pick, there's just not much they could do in terms of taking objectives. Fate is actually not alone here. Effort's down here, so he can actually farm this out while also keeping this turret alive. So KT can't turn this pick into a huge objective, which is really unfortunate. As Effort is, this time he's going to be safe with this play. And that's a big problem. If there was a Drake up right now or something like that, or if, we hadn't already taken the Rift Heralds off the map, KT would love this pick. But as it is now, it's just a little bit of vision. That's all they can get.
Oh, Dove. Going to take a bit of a cask ride as he trades an ultimate for his distortion, which as KT, you'll take any day of the week, like that one. As Fate looking to try and take down this outer turret as Dove heads straight onto the equalizer. Not exactly the opportune positioning there, but needed to in order to get himself out to safety. But is it in fact safety as Dove looking to try and connect some chains, but Croco is not afraid of anyone. And that is going to be a very comfortable bottom lane outer turret take. And once again, it's Live Sandbox taking all of the structures and KT not being able to answer. And it's just once again demonstrating better macro play from Live Sandbox, playing around where they want to push, not leaving any openings for any counterplay on KT's
아 요거 클린저 없고 일단.
Alright, so you say he has no cleanse.
한번 볼래 이거? 한번 볼게.
And he's like, let's go for it.
와줘 와줘.
Blades in, solar flare is there.
Okay.
True shot barrage on top of the cannon
위쪽으로
barrage.
빠질게. 안 할게.
Very barraged, unfortunately, was the Varus who had no cleanse, and that's that.
That's a lot of barraging. You're
Yes.
exactly right.
And you know, 5Kid gets 1 assist worth of gold out of that, not a whole lot, but he is farming very well. He's starting to take the CS lead. He's been a lot more free to do so in the mid lane, unfortunately, than Prince has, especially after that pick. He's going to catch up a little bit here, but Israel is starting to come online. LeBlanc is starting to come online. The pieces for KT Rolster are starting to come together, but as we saw last game, if you don't use them, because you're just so pushed back by the macro control that Live Sandbox have on the game that it doesn't matter, as that was a very scary moment there.
Yep.
So let's see if KT can actually force some fights on their terms or 5v5, because we still have a lot of Drakes to go through.
Yeah.
It's been a very slow Drake take game.
As Effort was looking for a potential flash play there. Trying to bait out Zeus's at least. Actually, he didn't have it, so never mind. That would have been a cask opportunity if they had have gone for it. As Prince hiding, but not able to land the piercing arrow. As 5Kid does get that Mirror Manor online. And so that's actually a pretty big spike for the Ezreal as well around this Infernal Drake that's going to be coming up in 30 seconds time. Just to, okay, Solar Flare not going to quite do too much as the Q misses from Blank as well as Summit. Going to get barraged on, flashes out of the way. I don't know whether he has the hop as he's looking to wait for it, wants to get over this wall if he can as the Ezreal takes down Effort as well as there's the kickback onto Summit, gets a decent Nether as he's buying as much time as possible. They want to give this kill over to Doran if they can, and they will, as he just shoots the Nara in the face and Live Sandbox drop the ball.
Perfect timing here for the Drake as well. Effort's dead on top of it all, so he's not going to be here. Drake spawns, and that should be easy peasy. KT Rolster evening up the Drakes here. And a lot of that gold lead has now faded away, and this is a comp that scales better, don't forget.
Yeah, Croco does have Equalizer, so
trying to steal that way.
It's a somewhat dangerous situation, however. X-Flash from Zeus gets him over to the side, and that is going to be the dragon taken. There's my Cloud Soul. Heck.
There you go. I told you you'd get it no matter what.
Feels good.
And look, now you're... Oh, okay. Fate.
That's a phase check. Not exactly what you want as Fate gets into the brush, but it doesn't matter because the chain's good vision.
Dove also was like, I have no idea who is nearby, so might as well just be happy to take half a health bar and get the hell out of dodge. And I want to watch that moment again where we see the pick on the Summit, because I think the main reason why he's there is just because he's trying to get his Gnar bar online. Like, he's trying to use the red side jungle to get his bar up. Like, he's in here, he knows where Doran is, so he's harassing Doran and trying to take this blue and get his Gnar bar up. But Dove is here, the barrage slows him, and then Blank is between him and his team, so there's no way he can actually get away. So all he can do is buy time, as you pointed out.
And his hop wasn't available until right now, right? Or at least crush, so... Just, he wanted to be able to hop over that wall, but had to move too far away from it to avoid death.
That's really unfortunate, but that's one small thing that leads to KT Rolster buying so much time for themselves and getting so much money, too. I mean, that was a big amount of gold that goes over to them. They're only 200 gold behind, 100 gold, in fact.
Yeah.
And they are able to kind of take back some vision control over the map. These small things really start to add up. You get a little bit of vision, then suddenly Dove becomes a lot more potent, becomes a lot more deadly.
Well, now KT moving towards this Baron. It is alive, but it is an optimistic take if they do decide to go for it. As Chains of Corruption connect onto Zeus. He throws back an ultimate of his own, but too much more going to be gleaned as there is a beautiful cast. The Equalizer down as well. Cannon Barrage looking to try and answer as the kickback onto Summit immediately. The low health bar's on KT, but they're still alive. Summit can't say the same. And KT turn it around.
KT take a gold lead now with the second kill on the Summit. Now they can actually turn their eyes to Baron as they look to set up for this one. 5Kid just went back. Obviously, he's going to be full health for this exchange. And Live Sandbox are in the vicinity, but these backs are pretty slow. KT just playing around the idea of Baron not actually going to start this one up, going to get further map control and actually just farm out this small window of time they have. Their comp isn't really at a point where it could rush the Baron down just yet, so I do appreciate the safety. There's definitely an option for them. But this engage is actually cinematic for Live Sandbox. I mean, between the cask here and the Equalizer, it's like, bam, I get it, like, why you want to go in here. The arrow fall was perfect. But look at this barrage positioning. The kick is so perfect for Blank, and Summit is punished in an instant. Everybody's health bars go low. You can't actually get those health bars to hit 0, and so KT can turn that, and it gets harder and harder from here.
Yeah, and Summit as well was so close to that Nava, right? You could tell exactly why they were going for it at that timing, but the burst damage, the focus from KT, I absolutely love it. They're going to get themselves a 1,000 gold lead. And they've still got so many turrets on the map to take as well. Outer in the mid lane, outer in the top lane. That's sort of standing gold for them to go and collect now that they do have so much fighting power around this map. As there's the flash forward, immediately the cleanse comes out from 5kid. As the equalizer, he's going to have to walk down it. As, oh my goodness. He does go extraordinarily far, but the Arcane Shift eventually comes back off cooldown. And Doran now going to have to deal with, you know, throwing out some of these barrels on top of this Varus.
The damage,
create the space.
The damage on the CC for Live Sandbox is so front-loading in terms of how they have to engage. Like, it's very obvious when Live Sandbox go in, if they don't get a kill, they need to leave because there's just not a lot of long-term damage. You know, Lucian can ult, right? You can equalize in. But then it's kind of like you're based on Varus arrows and Summit actually hitting an R bar so you can actually continue to fight. But in moments like this, even with 5kid down to like 15% health, Live Sandbox like, okay, we'll use all our tools. It's time to walk away because 5kid's going to chase us and kill us. So they have to back off. And these are engages that we're seeing Live Sandbox attempt and unfortunately just not able to stick the landing on. They're not able to go 100 for 100 of what the engage is supposed to do. They're only going 85% of the way there, which isn't enough against a comp that will win that longer fight and wants to take that longer fight. And we are starting to really see the S word come into play here. The scaling effect is massive.
Dove looking for some chains, but actually just looking for information as best he can. Distortion on cooldown as the cask. Oh,
he surfed it.
Well read by Dove.
So well played by him. Still gets
Distortion, not much of a cooldown at these levels, of course, now that it's maxed.
Yeah, cask definitely significantly longer, but the issue is it's not going to be up for this Drake fight. That's a big engaged tool off the table. Whereas KT Rolster in really nice position to group up for this.
Yep.
Dove has teleport, so even though he's backing right now, he can show up in a moment's notice. They have a lot of wards around the streak. There's the teleport.
Both teams with very important ultimates as well, the Equalizer and the Cannon Barrage. And this lowering of cooldown from the Cloud Drake is going to actually be very valuable. As there's the Equalizer, actually. Doran going to have to walk out of it as Zeus goes in, immediately does die, and it's Summit that locks down the kill. This time, he has the Mega Gnar available. Live Sandbox just standing out of the Cannon Barrage. As now Doran trying to get himself in there. The Drake is going to be secured here by Live Sandbox as KT with the health advantage. Looking to try and lock this one up. Everyone, though, gets over the wall just fine. They will make their way out. Chains of Corruption for some reason. For Prince. Just assumed someone was there.
Yeah, if anyone is there, they die, so...
I guess there's that, yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, I appreciate it. Throw it out. Oh, Dove looking for a mistimed desynced recall there, but will not find it. Can find Fate, though.
Yeah, exactly right, as he's just going to Gale Force. Try and get himself out of the way. And he is going to survive. True Shot Barrage also going to miss.
Fate's a ninja. But this is the difference, right? When you see the engage from Live Sandbox, this time it's super clean and you get that health bar to 0, right? Like if you get the health bars down to half, it doesn't matter. But if you can actually get a pick, then suddenly KT Rolster's comp can't front-to-back team fight anymore and it starts to fall apart. They got the pick on the Zeus and that was all it took to actually win that fight. So the equalizers have been really good from Croco in every single team fight, but this time there's enough follow-up damage. And that shows that Live Sandbox, even though their comp doesn't scale as much in terms of what we accept traditionally as scaling damage-wise, their comp is still very functional around its engage options.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you can stop someone from doing anything for a certain period of time, then absolutely
kill them.
Your comp's going to work.
Yeah. And if you can stop them for a certain period of time and almost kill them, then it's not good enough. But if you can actually kill them, then it is, in this case, enough.
And also with the, Cloud Drakes coming through as Prince once again going to have to cleanse. Croco gets over the wall. The chain just pops him. Goodbye. Now Prince caught in the barrage, but he flashes to get himself out of the way. The cask is going to be a bit of a party there from Effort as the culling is going to dissuade them as Blank is just going to get body slammed so beautifully from Effort, but it doesn't matter. He lands another Q. Can he make it out alive? The answer is absolutely yes, as he soaks as much damage as possible before making his exit. Summit gets the Mega Gnar, but can he actually do anything with it is the question. As Vision goes down, Doran avoids the drill house. And now Summit gets back in there. The wallop not going to connect, and Dove takes this as his opportunity to get in there, and Doran is going to pop him once again.
And I brought this up when we were talking about the draft. The targets that are most vulnerable to the LeBlanc are, you know, you think the Lucian, you think of the Varus, but often the Rumble. And Krako is just cleared out in one single combo.
Yeah.
Dove, he's dead instantly, and that means you just don't have a lot of the damage that Live Sandbox is going to need, plus the fact that they're in a bad position. They have to kind of try to retreat, and this is going to be a Baron for KT Rolster. They have such a nice lead in this game now.
I like that equalizer. Just comes in just to say goodbye.
Yeah.
On a low cooldown, you could do that.
But Krako's on the wrong side of this Baron pit. Look at how quickly he dies. The chain's tethered to him right before he goes over the wall. And Barrage means, okay, Prince is now in a really bad spot. He is able to flash and survive a little bit longer here. As the cast completely missing here is also a huge issue. As they handle this damage too super well. And Blank knows that if he actually hits this Q, it's all good. And he does. That's all he has to do, is actually land that Q, threads the needle, and all your damage is gone. All you have is a Lucian who's already used his culling. And yeah, Meganar comes up, but you're like, well, we don't have any damage because the Lucian doesn't have his ultimate, and it's a 2v5 fight.
Yeah, and Summit had already used his flash, had to use it defensively, things like this. Like, just wasn't it for Sandbox, and now this snowball is just getting way too large for KT. As Cannon Barrage comes in once again, Solar Flare not quite going to find the value as the equalizer. Going to be layered on top as well. Made a little bit of a bomb shape there, I guess.
Good
between
cast.
the two teams.
The cast buying a lot of time here.
Yep.
But still, the damage is rolling down the mid lane.
Yeah, and Doran, look at him. Just able to get these barrel chains where we would like them. Dove just wrapping around the side. Distortion keeps him so mobile. Double siege minions. There's half the health bar already on this inhibitor turret. And the siege is relentless from KT. 5-Kid as well, just so comfortable right now. Fate below half health. Summit as well, forced out completely. No Naba, no chance of saving this turret as Blank is just lying in wait, waiting for his opportunity to get in behind and get someone out of position. No flash available, so he'd have to use it with a safeguard. It's a bit more avoidable as the culling comes through. A lot of damage onto Zeus there as Dove gets hit by the double tap. Equalizer comes down as now 5-Kid is the target. But they're not quite able to get on top of him. In fact, he's arcane shifting forward. Kroko goes golden with his Zonyas, but now he's out of position. And he will get actually gets over the base gate, but Doran's going to be able to pick him up as they do pick up vision. And now Effort's going to have to flash to get himself out of the way. And I think we're going to a game 3, Wolf.
It definitely feels that way. Now, if anybody else dies there, we're going right away. But I think we are going to a game 3, even with KT having to walk away, lick their wounds, use these empowered recalls to go buy their final items, heading into this next Drake fight. The Drake itself is going to be pretty low impact. In fact, Blank is just going to take it on his own on their way out here with the control they have. But these are the fights where you could see that the damage is so front-loaded. Like, Fate uses his ultimate, and then KT back away, and they're like, okay, yeah, there's Equalizer, we avoid that. You guys don't have any damage anymore, that's it. That's the end of your fight. That is your team fight. And then they could just walk forward and press their buttons. Like, it's just so simple, actually, how this works out in the late game for KT. It's the ease of execution this comp offers you when you're not massively far behind. In fact, you're very ahead at this stage. You have the Baron buff, like, as Live Sandbox, you have no options except to call and hope that somebody makes a mistake, you know, in this case. And it's almost impossible to lose this game now as KT Rolster.
It's almost a 6-item gangplank as well. You can see Doran, highest level in the game, first one to max out. And he's completely caught up in farm. Remember, this lane went horribly for the gangplank in the early stages. But now, the value of things like the Cannon Barrage and the amount of damage that he's doing here, just ridiculous. And Live Sandbox, the use by date, it's really just fallen off. And I'm just hoping that next time it's Lysandra Yumi.
It always comes back. You know, we always go back to the draft. You know, we always go back
I had to do it. I had to do it. That being said, I don't know whether that would have saved it, and I think that Live Sandbox just let KT take a few too many liberties this game.
Yeah, no, I agree. And now 5-Kid's unkillable.
Yeah, he's huge. As he's got his Shirildas completed, as the cask is going to come through and disrupt KT on their way out. Another culling to come through here as Fate takes a fair bit of damage. The chain connects to Summit as he hops his way out. The Naba non-existent for now, as this inner turret is going to be secured. One more inner does remain, and it's 8,000 gold the lead for KT with a composition that scales better.
It has, you know, a lot of power right now, too, to, I think, probably even push advantages deeper than what is being shown, but they're going to back off again and reset. 5Kid took a bunch of damage from the turret there because they ran out of minions, so he goes back to full health. Dove is waiting to see if somebody is greedy because they have multiple control wards in this part of the jungle, so if somebody just walks up, he gets a kill. He's unsuccessful, sadly, but he doesn't need to go back right now, and ouch indeed. Okay, well, he's looking for Summit.
That's another chain that's going to go wide. Summit's just casually ignoring the LeBlanc. Is Fate going to get tagged by the Q? Blank looking for an opportunity to go in, but Zeus just decides that he doesn't want to back him up, and they don't have enough information. So
If
back
KT
away.
decide to just play this out really passively, like there does eventually become a limit to how much you can go, well, we just want to scale anyways. Like eventually, you know, this game
You do have to like destroy the Nexus.
the Nexus does have to go down in order for us to go to game 3. That
Yeah.
is essentially what I'm saying, but at the same time, the longer this game goes, KT's lead actually becomes a liability with the death timers that they're going to see, you know, later on. If KT gets wiped, like Live Sandbox just walk through 5 turrets and win the game. Like they're actually able to do that if this game goes longer. So
I mean, yeah, eventually it all comes down to one team fight, no matter what the advantages are. And you can see it's they are very, very large outside of that mid lane.
Which is why I'm a little bit concerned that KT isn't pushing the issue a little bit further here with the comp they have. It's not the most amazing sieging composition, but it's pretty decent, you know?
No, it does a great job. You just throw down a cannon barrage and you take whichever turret
Exactly.
you like.
You're like, oh, I would like that inhibitor.
Yeah.
Thank you. I think pushing bottom is probably the easiest way to go about this. So, again, it's all about Live Sandbox. Can they get a pick? If yes, then they can win a 5v4 fight potentially. If they cannot, which is, you know, been mostly the case this game, you could see by the score line, the gold graph, etc., then KT win that longer fight. So I think KT, as long as they approach carefully, they could definitely look for some win conditions here. But the slower they play this, like we're playing around a 3rd Cloud Drake, by the way, like not the Soul, it's Soul Point here they're playing around.
Yeah.
Just want to point that out.
In 1 minute's time, Summit is not very tanky. He's gone for more of that split pushing style of build with the Black Cleaver and the Wit's End, as Live Sandbox wanting to get some of this poke to stick. As there's another equalizer, 5Kid walking down it for now as Fate dashing around him. Goes golden now as Summit looking for the knob, but doesn't find anything really. Does get kicked back and uses it to keep himself alive, but True Shot Barrage says absolutely not. Fate now off to the side, he'll be taken down as KT will just storm on through the wall. It's real heavy, but also playing the fight out very, very nicely. There's the coordination that we were asking of them in game number 1. It shows up right when Blank does, as Effort gonna get chased out of this one. The chains will connect and it's a double kill for Dove.
Very impressive stuff. Really nice coordination, actually, between this team's composition. They had a very great, strong late game scaling comp, just like game 1, but this time they played the mid game a lot better. They played around the gangplank, the cannon barrages that were so high utility. Blank shows up big here in this second game. I think it might be another case of him getting subbed in, gets a POG.
Yeah, right?
We're going to a game 3, and KT Rolster, they played it out really carefully, but the Nexus will fall, and we are going to that game 3. Jisun was the prophet.
She absolutely was. She knew. She knew exactly what was going to happen here. We get treated to the final game of the night. Game number 3 between Live Sandbox and KT. And Sandbox is going to have to go back to the drawing board just a little bit here.
And this was a really, I hate to say it, but it was a really obvious